Hey, lovely world hearts, it's Lisa here. How are you doing? I hope you're having a lovely day. I'd like to do another reading for us today to explore our intuitive gifts as highly sensitive people, as wild hearts, as I like to call us. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Lisa Parks. I'm an HSP, an intuitive coach and writer, and I love to teach highly sensitive souls to journal with tarot cards to unlock our intuitive and creative gifts and discover our true voice, our inner voice. So I thought we'd start off today with this card. Trust your intuition. So what do you think of when you see the word intuition? Our intuition is sometimes referred to by some as our psychic ability, our sixth sense, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, claircognizance. And the language of our intuition speaks to us in symbols and numbers and words and colours and objects. And so I like to use the cards because they reflect back to us. They are a mirror. I don't use them to predict the future. I don't believe in predicting the future because I think we've all got free will. But I think it's really helpful sometimes when we don't have a very good sense of self, or we're feeling a little bit wobbly, or we don't trust ourselves, or we find it hard to make decisions about what is right for us because we feel overwhelmed. I feel like that's when we've lost our connection with our intuition. So let's just read what this says on the other side. It's time to stop seeking advice from others and go inside instead. You know what's best for your body, mind and spirit. Sit in meditation, walk in the woods. Ask yourself what you need and listen. Tune into your inner guidance. When you get a gut reaction, honour it. You have the answer and it's safe to trust yourself. Everything you need is already inside of you. So the thing that's really standing out for me in that is it's safe for you to trust yourself. For those of us that were raised in trauma or had abusive childhoods, we were taught not to trust ourselves. We were actually cut off from our intuition. It's the first thing to go because abusive people want to control you. So you were probably gaslit and told to doubt your reality because you had to buy into their reality. And yesterday I did a video on HSPs that are estranged from their families of origin, and I talked about all those things, so perhaps you'd like to go and check out that video. But really what this card is saying is it's time to stop going outside of yourself. So as HSPs and empaths, we're very hypervigilant and tuned into our environment. And so it's a habit, or it's automatic to us to focus on what's that person feeling? Are they mad at me? What's going on over there? We pick up on all the unspoken words, all the tension in the room, the conflict. I don't know about you, but I'm very sensitive to noises. I hate loud noise, and I'm currently living in a building site, but we'll save that story for another day. But it really does dysregulate my nervous system and impact me quite deeply. And I want to be in the peace and quiet so I can completely rest and relax. You know what's best for your body, mind and spirit. Yeah, I don't want to be around loud noises and people shouting and arguing. And this card is asking us to sit in meditation or walk in nature. Now, when I first came to healing, I couldn't actually meditate because my inner world was so busy and noisy and full of chaos and trauma, unhealed trauma and suppressed emotions that I couldn't sit with myself, like to close my eyes and be with myself. In fact, I didn't like being alone. But my way of finding a meditative state or being more mindful is through the art of journaling. And that's what I teach people, intuitive journaling. And it's such a great way to sit with yourself and get to know yourself and ask yourself what you need and tune in and listen. Tuning into your inner guidance, that's what it is. And when you're connected to the body and you're really listening to what it says, then they're all the answers that you need. The answers aren't out there on the internet. They're not from all the gurus. They're not from all the self-help books. They actually live inside of you. And people say that if you're guided by your intuition, it's almost like Hansel and Gretel in the story of you following the breadcrumbs. So you get what we call little intuitive hits. You see something and you know that that's meant for you. You hear a song on the radio, you know those words are meant for you. And you're just slowly guided by that undercurrent of energy. That really is your soul speaking to you, I believe. It really is your soul. So just take a moment to look at that card. There's real freedom, isn't there, in being your own person and connected to your own thoughts and feelings, and not feeling like you have to fall into line or people please. That butterfly is free to fly away and go wherever it wants to. And I don't know about you, but freedom is really important to me. So if freedom is, drop me a little butterfly emoji in the comments below. But also something about following the path, and you can't see where the path's leading. So your intuition is asking you to trust and let go and have blind faith, perhaps. So the other day I looked after a blind dog. She was a very brave doggy. She's like a black cockapoo, so she's had both her eyes removed. But you can't see that she hasn't got any eyes. It just looks like her eyes are closed all the time. But the way that she just struts out along the path as we're walking, that's what's making me think of. Like, she sniffs a bit, but she still struts along the path, having total faith that whatever lies ahead of her, she'll be able to handle it. And it was just quite remarkable spending the day with her. Beautiful doggy. Her name's Millie. Shout out to Millie, the lovely Millie. And I hope I'll be looking after her again soon, actually, because it's just so inspiring to hang out with animals. Can teach us so much, can't they? They really can. So let's pop that one down there a moment. And actually, I want to pop that up there just to remind us in the background that that's what we're talking about. Pop that there. Now, I've got a selection of cards here that I've pre-shuffled and pulled offline before I came on to record the video. So let's just see. I don't know what they say. I just pulled them all at random. Oh, there you go. So here we've got the Magician. You have everything you need to do anything you want. There you go. You've got everything you need inside of you. She's got a little heart on her dungarees. And she's got a bird on her shoulder and a tray of tools. They represent all the elements of the tarot. So swords, cups, pentacles. Swords, cups, pentacles and wands. The fire, which is the candle that you can see there. And the wands are the fire, so they represent our passions and our creativity. And the pentacles are the earthly elements. They also represent abundance and money. Cups are love and emotions, and swords are our thoughts, are our mental energy. So when all of those things are taken into consideration, you have all the tools you need. But I just think if you are connected back to that little inner voice inside of you, then you can make magic. You can make magic. You can manifest. You can manifest the life that you want. We don't go after and chase the things we want. We create the energy inside of us that is a vibrational match for that which we are seeking. It's quite remarkable. And so that's why I'm always saying to HSPs or Wild Hearts, learn to regulate your nervous system. Learn to work with the energy inside of you. Don't worry about what other people are doing. It's not out there, remember. It's inside of you. That's where your power is. And really the point of power is in the present moment, is in the here and now. It's not too far in the future, and it's not lamenting and feeling regretful about things in the past that you can't change. It's just about being here and now, in this very moment. What do you see when you look at that card? So if I was journaling along with you to these cards, which I often do, so our question today would be, what are my intuitive gifts, or how is my intuition blocked? And already I don't know if there's anything like maybe, I don't know, this person is surrounded by nature. That card is very much in nature. The energy, we come from nature, don't we? So to connect back to Mother Earth and to be around plants and flowers and feel the sun on our face, the wind in our hair, that keeps us very much in the present, doesn't it? Whereas I think when we're scrolling on our phone or we've been stuck in the house for days, or we're working really hard and rushing around, we're not connected to any of that, to the beauty of the world around us. What is magical about life to you? Are you aware that you have this magical energy inside of you, that you are made of spirit? That is where you come from. Looking at all the twinkles around her that represent the magic. I'll just put that one down there a second. See what else we've got here. Oh, there you go. There's spirit. And trying to talk to you in your ear. It's a wake-up call. Your intuition is trying to talk to you. Are you listening and taking notice of it, or are you pushing it to one side? Do you ignore it when it tries to talk to you? How do you know if it's talking to you? So that shell that the angel is using as a trumpet is reminding me of when you were a kid, and they used to say, put the shell to your ear and you can hear the sea, but you had to listen really carefully, and it was a really faint shushing sound of the sea, wasn't it? And I think, again, being in the present moment, being in the here and now, being in the quiet of nature so that you can listen. You can't hear it if your inner critic is screaming at you and flooding you with anxious thoughts and worries. You can't hear the voice of your intuition if your inner critic is making you wrong and self-doubt and second-guess yourself. You can't hear it if you're constantly on the go and you never stop and spend time alone with your good self. And that's why I love journaling, because that is a moment, a real moment of self-care where you stop and check in and tune in and listen to what's going on in your inner world. The gateway to your intuition is through your senses, and through your senses is through the body, and it's through our feelings. So it's getting back in the body again. But look at all this kind of like thunder, maybe your intuition's been trying to talk to you for a really long time. Perhaps it's it's that little voice that says, leave the job, leave the toxic relationship, put some boundaries down with that person, stop doing this, do that, do more of that. It wants what's best for you. It's a very different energy to the voice of fear. The voice of fear are those anxious, worried, critical thoughts that want to keep you small. This voice of your intuition is the voice of your soul. It knows what you're here to do, and it's trying to guide you on that path, so that path there, to fulfill your purpose, I think. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Oh, the storm. It is too damn noisy wherever you are. What was I just saying? It's too noisy, whether that's other people's emotional storms, your own emotional storms, your own emotional dysregulation, the environment around you. Like if that's the magic there, that sparkling crystal, obviously it's shining in the dark, so it can be seen in the dark, but you're surrounded by too much noise, by too much chaos, maybe by too much gossip, by too much drama, by too much low-level energy. That could be a possible block to your intuition. In fact, I know it definitely is. But you need those moments of solitude and silence and peace to be in tune with yourself. So what is stormy in your life? And if you think about storms, storms come in sometimes to clear the way. Sometimes storms are good. They come to clear the path for the new. But it isn't very nice being in the middle of a storm, is it? Especially if it's someone else's emotional storm. I mean, hopefully most of us know how to regulate our own emotional storms. If you don't, I have got an emotional first aid kit for HSPs that will help you. I've had a storm inside of me. I'm recovering from complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and that is like having little storms, little fireworks that go off inside of you when you get triggered, but you learn how to listen to them and how to nurture them and how to have compassion for yourself and how to soothe yourself. It's about being able to soothe the storm. And sometimes there'll be storms going on outside of you that you cannot control. They're not your storms to control. So you need to create space between you and the storm. Interesting. Let me just have a little slurp of my tea. Yeah, because if a butterfly was to get into a storm, it would be destroyed because they're very delicate creatures, butterflies, aren't they? Oh, look at that. Now look, I know that says summer. This is a timing card from the deck. But what I'm drawn to is the bird on trying to whisper in her ear, which is reminding me of this card. Look, trying to talk to you in your ear. It isn't always in your ear, but I suppose it is a bit like a whisper. Look, and she's got a bird on her shoulder as well. Look at that. So it's like a little bird twittering in your ear and you're not listening to it. She's just closing her eyes, of feeling the sun on her face and being in the present moment. And the bird has a message for her. So our intuition talks to us. It can be clairaudient. You can hear. I often get a voice in my head that says something, and I can distinguish between that and the voice of fear. So when I was setting up my video today, yesterday I recorded some videos and I was holding the video in my hand, and my hand was getting tired, and it was very wobbly and probably quite distracting if you're watching it on the television or on your screen, so I'm sorry about that, but I'm new to all this and I'm still learning. And then as I was setting this up today, a voice in my head said, go and get this and go and get that, and it was just guiding me. It's like a guide, it's like a loving parent, like a spiritual guide, like a best friend that wants to help you. So it can be voices in your ear, clairaudience. So maybe those of you watching today, because we've got this bird talking in the ear, maybe it's clairaudience. So perhaps you wake up in the morning and you haven't heard any music, but you might start singing a song in the shower, or you might hear a song in your head. Yes, that is a way, but it can also come to you in visuals. So you might see movies or people or words in your head or specific colours. And then clairsentience is clear feeling. So you might get that gut feeling that card was talking about in the beginning, where you get a very strong no about someone or something, or you get a very strong yes. And again, it's about being in the body and tuning into that. The other one is claircognizance, so that's clear knowing. When you know something without having any evidence to back it up, so when you know that someone's lying, or when you know that something's not right, and you can't put your finger on what it is, and you've got nothing to say that it isn't so, but you absolutely know with your whole being that something's not right, or something is right, perhaps. Right, so if you're journaling along with me, just journal on the pictures and notice what you see. Your intuition likes the colours, likes the words. It's just like storytelling. There you go, in tune. Now, I see this as, I know this is a romantic thing, but I see this as two parts of you. I see this as your masculine and your feminine energies coming together. So when you've got trauma, you are separated from yourself, or parts of you are separated from yourself, because trauma fragments you and disconnects you from yourself. This is about coming back together, integrating all those parts into your psyche, the feminine and the masculine. But also look what's in the background. I'm drawn to the Ferris wheel, which is making me think of the inner child. The inner child. So most things that happen to us before the age of 0 to 7 are the traumatic things that lay the foundations for our belief systems, our thoughts, the way we see ourselves, the lens we see through the world. And that's why I do inner child work with people. I get people to connect back to that childlike energy inside. Your inner child is the gateway to your intuition, to your creativity, and to your joy. So we must keep journaling and let those voices speak and bring them back in and let them have their say. Some of them may have been silenced. Some of them may be too afraid to speak up. And there's a love there. This is about loving yourself more. This is about self-love, to integrate all of those parts instead of pushing them away or shaming them or guilting them or making them wrong or punishing them like we were probably treated when we were kids. We bring them in and we offer them compassion and love. Oh, I like that one. I love the colours on that. It's really playful and vibrant, isn't it? Look at the paint splatters and the spots and all the multicolours and the bright lights. Like when you are in alignment with yourself, when you are connected to yourself, so when you're in your body and you're aligned and you're grounded and centered, that's the magic. That is the magic, isn't it? Yeah. I'm getting a sense that this group of you listening to me today are very clairaudient, because again, we've gone back to in tune. We've got the music, and actually the carousel, or no, it's not a carousel, it's a Ferris wheel. When you go to the fair, there's lots of music there, isn't there? I'm hearing that in my head, that maybe this is about you're unlocking your clairaudience, your intuitive listening skills. Definitely something about listening today, isn't there? Are you getting that? If you feel like you're clairaudient, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what Claire. Yes. Oh, there's your intuition speaking right to you. It's a yes, isn't it? Often when we are triggered and we go up into our heads, our brain goes into a space of all the no's. No, this can't happen. No, this might go wrong. No, this isn't great. And our energy contracts and we become really small. But the energy of your intuition is expansive, and it wants to say yes to things that are aligned with your values and your energy. It wants to say yes to your soul's desire, to your heart's desire. Big resounding yes, which looks like a firework display really to me, doesn't it? But it's shining up over this. Is that a palace or a castle? I don't know what you think that is. It's about coming home to yourself, isn't it? That's what connecting back to your intuition is, because your intuition is spirit, is your spirit. And you are a meat suit, a human meat suit with a spirit inside of you. So you're a human having a human experience, but it's about balancing the spiritual elements and the practical kind of everyday down to earth human elements. I think that's about coming home to yourself. So if we go back to the magician with the tray, it's about balancing the thoughts and the feelings, the passions. It's about getting all those things to work in unison together. So that's back to the in tune together, like bringing those parts of you back together. Put that one there, actually. Right, let's have another look and see what else we've got here. We've got a few more cards to go. Yes. Oh, look, your inner owl. This is what I call your intuition. So it's like your inner wisdom. It's like a wise owl that knows. It knows, even in the darkness, when you're in the unknown and nothing is certain, there's a little whisper in the darkness, twit-twoo, and it's trying to speak to you, but you have to go quiet. You have to go quiet. It's almost like, look, these people in these rooms, their intuition isn't switched on because they're still in the darkness, but this person up here with the light on in their room has managed to switch their intuition on. And that light there reflects the light in the owl's eyes, and the owl can see in the dark, right? So your intuition is going to guide you through the unknown in the most tumultuous, rocky, tricky, frightening moments of your life. If you are connected to your intuition, then you will be able to trust and know that you're capable of making it to the other side. Also, talking about the wisdom, there's something about teaching in here, or learning. Maybe it's something you need to learn. You need to learn to recognize it when it's trying to talk to you. You need to discern between the voice of your intuition and the voice of your fear and the voice of your worries. And you need to discern and learn what your body does when something doesn't feel right, what your body does when it's a big resounding yes. Like, when is it a yes and when is it a no? So when something's a no for me, I get almost like a fist clenched in my stomach, like almost like wanting to set a boundary. When it's a yes for me, I get like a fizzy feeling in my tummy that like flutters all the way up to my chest, and sort of like giddy, feel quite giddy and excited. Can you differentiate between the two? Yeah, Faith. Look at that. Look at that. She is blindfolded and she's got all these swords. I don't know if they're daggers or swords around her. And I almost wonder if she's gone into the cocoon there, and that's the butterfly wings. Because as part of our healing, we do have to go into darkness, and we do have to have blind faith and trust. But swords in the tarot represent thoughts. So it's like, even if all these negative thoughts are coming at you, and you can't see where you're going, and you don't know where you're going, look, there's your intuition at the top. It's that shining star, that guiding light. Can you trust yourself to navigate through the path, through the unknown? I think if you've been through difficult times in your life, which most of us have, then your faith does grow stronger, because you start to realise that sometimes when things feel like they're falling apart, they're actually coming together for you, and those things are meant to fall away. They're not meant to be there. How do you hold yourself in the darkness? Can you be with yourself in the void, in the darkness, in the stillness? Or do those voices of the past, or of your inner critic, or of your fear, or your shame, or your guilt, do those voices speak louder? It's kind of like saying you're too scared to sit with yourself because you've got all of these horrible voices going on inside of you. But actually, if you want to listen to the voice of your intuition and be guided, you are going to have to learn to sit with yourself. So that's the challenge, isn't it? That's the balancing act. Oh, look at that. Work. Look at all those buildings. So like when you're getting busy and you're really industrious and you don't ever stop. So I'm tuning in here that some of you are working too hard, or you're on the go all the time, and you're not finding that still space. You're almost like running from yourself. And there's no judgment there. It's just an observation. But I am running a monthly journaling class. So if you'd like to come and find some stillness and some pockets of peace and moments of contemplation and reflection with yourself, then you're very welcome to come and join us. I shall pop a link in the comments below if you'd like to. It's on the last Tuesday of February at the end of the month, this month. But maybe your work in life involves being connected to your intuition. So maybe like me, you're a healer or an intuitive coach. Maybe you're here, maybe your life's purpose is to be a light worker, is to bring your wisdom and your intuition into the world. Maybe that's what you're here to do. It involves your life's purpose. How many of you watching this are healers, or psychics, or coaches, or teachers, or spiritual guides and mentors? I expect a lot of you are. There is work involved. I suppose it's not work, it's actually developing a spiritual practice that enables you to connect into that voice. And like any spiritual practice, that takes discipline. I suppose that's why they call it the work. But like every morning I will sit down, and if I've had a dream or there's something on my mind when I wake up, I'll just pull out my journal, pick a few cards and just journal on what's coming through until I feel like I've got the message, till I feel like I need to stop. And sometimes that can be within the first few lines, and sometimes it takes a few pages or a few cups of tea to get there. But this work is about consistently showing up for ourselves and about having patience with ourselves, I think. Definitely. Let me just have another sip of my tea. Are you finding this interesting and helpful? I hope so. if you're asking the question, am I psychic? I personally believe that we are all psychic and we all have intuitive abilities, obviously of very varying degrees. Like mediums can contact other realms and speak to spirits. When I was a little girl, I used to see Hatman in our house. So on my periphery vision, I used to see a man in a cloak and a hat. He used to slide up the staircase, or he'd be like, on the edges of my vision. So if you've seen like things on the edges of your eyes, like if you just dart your eyes to the left or right and you can sense that there's something else there, I think a lot of us knew about our intuitive and psychic gifts when we were younger, but we were raised in families or environments that didn't embrace that. And so what we did was we shut all of that down. I once spoke to a therapist about this man that I saw, but not till I was a lot older. I didn't ever tell anyone when I was a child, because all I kept saying to the people around me was, I won't go upstairs on my own, or I'm scared of the dark. If you are an HSP, because you have heightened senses and you can tune into that darkness, so that is a bit like that owl. Where's our little owl? Here. You can see clearly in the dark like the owl can. And darkness, so in the house I grew up in, there was a lot of unhealed trauma. So that would have been a lot of darkness for a small person, a young child, to take on, to absorb, and was very damaging, actually. And as I say, between the ages of 0 and 7 is when you absorb all that stuff and it's shaping you. And had I known that this was like a gift, that my intuition was a gift, and that I wasn't to be afraid of the dark, and I wasn't to be afraid of things that I could sense that weren't of this realm, then I would have probably arrived at this work a lot sooner, I would imagine. I'm pretty sure I would have done. Have any of you had any experiences, psychic experiences, or unexplained phenomena? Synchronicities happen a lot when you're tuned into your intuition. Things that you can't explain, that don't seem to be linked together, but then are. And yeah, it's quite powerful when you're tuned into it. Soulmates. Now, again, I'm seeing that this is like the two parts of you coming back together, but I am also seeing that there's too much of a focus on other. Maybe you had a parent who was very needy of you, that wasn't really a parent, that acted like a child, and you had to be the adult and take care of them, and you were very preoccupied with that, which would have can you see that there's a lock on that heart? So it's like your heart was locked. Oh look, and they've got the key. Oh, that gives me chills, that does. Because soulmates aren't always like, people talk about twin flames. I mean, I don't really think there is the one. That's just Disney bullshit, isn't it? I mean, sorry if you believe that that's the case, but I think there's lots of people that could be a good fit for you, and you have free will and you can choose that. But this person is holding the key to this person's heart. So then this person grows up thinking that the only way they can unlock their heart is that they become very needy, very codependent on one another. And look, there's a face in the clouds there, like spirit is... I wonder if that's like ancestors that are watching over this, like this is a pattern that's been repeated over and over in family. But if you had someone that was controlling or had their hands around your heart, as it were, then you wouldn't have been connected to your intuition. And look, all the love is over with this parent. Like this parent is just sucking the love out of this child, but there's no love coming into the child. It's quite a gloomy picture, isn't it? Like, people watch these rom-coms and think, oh, he's my soulmate, he's the one. And I'm just like, not looking at this picture, I don't think. What do you get when you're looking at that picture? I think it's important to say at this point, if you were controlled as a child, that you will not be in contact with your intuition. You probably will have the voice of your controlling parent, you will have internalised that, and it will be quite unkind to you to try and control you and keep you small and safe and stop you from growing, from spreading your wings and flying away. Oh, it's quite dark, isn't it? Oh, look, wings on the book. The key to spreading your wings and flying away, the key to your intuition is to journal, isn't it? That's what I just said. And to keep being curious and asking questions. I think that's what journaling does. I think we'd call that in therapy inquiry. It's always about inquiry. Instead of judging ourselves and making ourselves wrong, we're asking the question why. We're saying, why is this happening? What does that mean for me? That's why I love using the cards, because I think it's great to tell stories and make sense of things. Like, we are creatures of meaning. We want to make sense of stuff. And you can do that by writing in your journal. Maybe some of you will be telling your stories in a book, like I did. I wrote a book called Stuck Between Two Worlds, which was a story of my inner child growing up as a highly sensitive child in a house that was emotionally cut off and riddled with emotional trauma. I'm just noticing the way that she's kind of tentatively approaching the book. So she's got all these questions. Look at the question marks. She's got all these questions, but I wonder if you feel scared about what you might find inside of you, like what's going to come out on the page. Maybe you're avoiding things or hiding things there's things that you don't want to know. You're scared of uncovering painful truths. But you know, the truth sets you free. It's those wings. It gives you the inner strength and the courage to fly away from that which does not serve you or that which hurts you. 3 + 1 is 4, and 4 is the energy of foundations, like it's building solid foundations. So look, she's actually standing on a raised platform. So it's like, by journaling and getting to know yourself, that is the solid foundation from which your confidence, your sense of self is built. Oh, I love that one. That's a really juicy one, that one. Oh, and look, she's got wings. Can you see? Like, they're very faint at this point. She doesn't realise that she's got wings. She's looking for answers, isn't she, in the books and in the gurus outside of her. She doesn't realise that she's got her own inner knowing, her own intuition, her own knowledge. Wow. Right. Is this the last one? No, we've still got a few more. Keep going. 43. Spaceship. Don't be afraid to sing. See, I think your intuition is your inner voice. And so I'm wondering if, a bit like Ariel in the Disney movie, if someone, when you were younger, stole your voice. So again, when you get back in touch with your intuition and you turn up the volume on that little whisper, that little bird that's trying to tweet in your earhole, it's definitely something about clairaudience. Look at the musical notes around these 3 mermaids. There's something about you're hearing a voice in your head and you're not listening to it, or you're hearing lyrics of a song, or you're being moved by music, like something in music is moving you. I definitely think, if you're listening to this, that you've got clairaudient gifts, that you hear the voice of your intuition. But what might be blocking it is that you're clinging on to other people and hoping that they're going to give you the advice that you need. But again, you've got all the answers that you need inside of you, right? Another little slurp of tea. What are you drinking today? I've got English breakfast tea today. Strong with 1 sweetener. That's just how we like. Ah, yeah. And in order to hear that voice, you need to unplug. If you listen to my podcast, The Wildheart Diaries, you will know that I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I have to be on it for my job, but if I didn't have to be on it, I wouldn't be on it. Mostly because I've discovered that social media wants people to look at mind-numbingly boring things that are going to keep them stuck in a trauma response, like cat videos and pictures of women who've filled their faces full of Botox and dieted beyond all recognition to say, look, you need to look like this. It's all distraction. But when you post things that are spiritual or about healing, or you're encouraging people to step into their power because you want to empower people, oh no, Facebook doesn't want people to see that. Oh, your post has been shown to 2 people. Thanks very much. Just took me half an hour to create that post. So I hate it for that reason, because if you're on the healing path, or you think you're intuitive and you're trying to tap into these intuitive and creative gifts, unfortunately, you're in the minority. Most of the world is just wandering around lost, traumatised, and doesn't even know that they are. That's not to say that we're any better than anyone else, but it's just to say that those dumb phones are made to keep you stuck, frozen, and controllable. So by also sensing that you need to learn to rest and relax. If we go back to that work card, where's that work card? There it is. You're working too hard. I'm a workaholic, or trying not to be at the moment, trying to step back from that. But like, maybe you need a little break, a bit of a staycation from life. Start reading books again instead of looking at your phone. That's what I've tried to do. I love holding a book in my hand. Something nice about that. Right, we've just got a couple more cards, so let's just go for the last 2. Oh, this one came up the other day. Look, I was talking of books. There's the library. The 3 of Swords in the tarot is the card of heartbreak, loss, and trauma. So I do believe that what blocks our intuition is our trauma, because along the way we have lost touch with that little bird that whispers in our ear, that talks to us. Oh, look, there are the little birds, little cheeky pigeons. She can't even see the pigeons because it's so stormy. Look, there's the storm again. Where's our storm gone? Oh, it's buried in a pile of cards. I can't find it now. You know the card I mean. It's so stormy and chaotic that she can't hear anything. She looks very overwhelmed. And so it's about getting back in touch with those parts of yourself. And when you're crying, you're grieving, which means you're healing. You're washing away the traumatic experiences and creating space so that you can be integrated as a whole. You can come back to yourself again. That's very interesting, isn't it? And really, I'm drawn to the staircase, actually, because your intuition would make you walk upstairs, like it would elevate your energy, whereas trauma and grief and shame and guilt and rage and all of that is very low level vibration. Very low level vibration. Whereas your intuition would want to take you up that staircase. It would make you want to raise your vibration. Oh, drawn to her blue hair. Blue is the colour of our throat chakra. She's also wearing a blue cardigan and a blue top. I think we hold trauma inside of us because we don't tell our stories, because we think other people will judge us, or we feel so ashamed of the things that have happened to us. But that shame belongs to your perpetrator if you've been abused. It does not belong to you. And if we go back, if blue is the colour of your throat chakra, don't be afraid to sing. What's inside of you must come out of you, otherwise what's inside of you will destroy you, or at least come out sideways and bleed over other people, I think. Right, last one. Ready? Oh, it's the healing card. Yes, have faith that healing is in the forecast. So connecting back to your intuition, there's spirit in the sky, but it's not outside of you. It lives inside of you. And when you heal and you bring all those parts of you back together, you start to connect to that little bird. Oh, look, there's the bird again. She's not listening to the bird. She's like, all the answers are out there. I'm looking into the skies. Tell me the answers, great gurus. Tell me the answers. And the bird's right down at her feet and she can't see it. At least she's in the garden, in the dark, in the quiet. She looks quite cold though, doesn't she? She looks quite cold, and she's in her purple wellies. Purple is the colour of your intuition, your third eye. It's the chakra that sits between your 2 eyes, like in the middle of your forehead. or your forehead, whatever you like to call it. So really, what will you take away from today's storytelling, today's intuitive reading about connecting up to your intuitive gifts? I'd love to hear if you could leave me a comment below. Perhaps leave me a little bird if there's a bird emoji, or a butterfly emoji, or a heart emoji, and hopefully that will send out healing to the people watching it. If you'd like to book an intuitive reading with me, I have one called Unlock Your Magic, and I shall put that in the comments below. And we will have 45 minutes together. We will pull cards specifically for your situation. Look, I've got all my card decks here. Just here. I mean, I've got loads of them. I've got about 20 of them. So you can pick whatever card decks you like. And together we'll look at your intuitive blocks and your intuitive gifts, and possibly your creative gifts will come through. Did we get any creative gifts in here? I think maybe music is coming through, and writing for sure. Something in music, and definitely something in the writing. We've got the books here in the library. Maybe some of you are going to be internet sensations or social media influencers. God, I would hate that job. But it's got a star. You're going to be a social media star with the starfish. I don't know. Tell me if you sensed any creative gifts. But I think, going back to that work card, when you tap into your creative gifts, work doesn't feel like work. It feels like joy. It feels like play. It feels like fun, and that's why connecting back to the inner child, which we did on this card, didn't we, with the Ferris wheel? That's where all those things live. I'll just see if there's any other creative gifts here. Well, you're definitely a people person if you're a highly sensitive person. Maybe you're going to be a teacher. Some kind of creative teacher, or using creativity to teach. Or gardening. There's the other one. We've got the garden here. So when we're creating a garden, when we're growing vegetables, I always think creativity is taking something and transforming it into something else, or you can create something from scratch. But I mean, it's very rare that we create something from scratch. I think we take other things from around us that we see and have experienced, and then throw a bit of ourselves into it, don't we? Perhaps some of you are going to be healers, guides, meditation teachers, mindfulness teachers, crystal healers. Yeah. I don't know what else, if you see anything else in there. I think that's it for today, lovely Wildheart. So yeah, I'd love to do a reading for you if you're interested. I'll drop a link in the show notes below. And until next time, do take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.